My review of King Sorrow, a Faustian fable of dark academia, summoned dragons, and the terrible bargain six friends make, by Joe Hill. I've been a fan of Joe Hill's work for a long time. Much like his father, I think his strongest works are also his shortest. I really enjoyed the graphic novels he's produced, especially The Cape and Basketful of Heads. Recently, I noticed he has a new novel out, his first in about 10 years. I didn't pay particular attention to how long the book was. It's not usually something I worry about. When I started reading it, I immediately fell into the story. Fast forward a couple of hours, and I saw that I was about 18% of the way through the ebook when I felt I should be a lot closer to the end based on where I thought the story was going. Folks, the length of the title is exceeded only by the length of the book. The print version clocks in at 896 pages in the hardcover. I didn't let this deter me. I don't mind lengthy books, so long as things move along at a good pace. Authors need the space they need to tell the stories they want to tell. I'd summarize the book for you, but frankly the subtitle does a really good job of that. It got me thinking that I should include a descriptive subtitle for all of my works. I will say that the bargain these six friends made takes around 30 years from spooky start to rip-roaring finish. That's right. This story spans about 3 decades in the telling. Joe tells the story from the point of view of each of the six friends, putting them each in the driver's seat for some portion of the novel. In so many ways, it's clear that Joe is his father's son. Neither is afraid to take their time building characters and exploring the ramifications of the situation they've set up. It's also clear that Joe loves his dad's work, and as such, he pays several homages to the King universe. Having said that, he is his own storyteller. I think he's much better than his dad is when it comes to creating well thought out and very broken characters. And that's some very loud praise considering how good King's character work is. He also excels when it comes to working through the consequences of the actions these characters take. The stakes are always pretty high and well explained. The payoff is satisfying, and my emotions were taken along for the ride. Having said all of that, does this behemoth of a book have any flaws? There were a couple of times where the dramatis personae got confused in my mind. In addition to the 6 protagonists, there are a couple of antagonists who populate this book's world, and that's not to mention a host of side characters who get plenty of time on the page. With all of those names bouncing around, sometimes I felt the need for a program. There was also one fairly major plot point, an antagonist who was built up throughout about 2/3 of the book, which felt weak. The build-up was wonderful. It was a revenge-driven thread where the motivation was clear and the timing of the characters making an appearance was well done. Sadly, the payoff was a bit like a damp firecracker. She showed up to do what needed doing and ultimately didn't turn out to be much of a threat. It was a bit like if King had failed to have Trash Can Man blow the nuke and instead let off a packet of C4. He could have left her out entirely and had some other way of doing the damage this character ultimately did, and probably saved 100 pages. Putting those things aside is relatively easy. The first issue is perhaps a problem more with this reader than the book, and the second is still entertaining for all of its flawed execution. Taking everything into account, I give this book 4 stars. I enjoyed the ride, bumps and all. I just hope it doesn't take 10 more years for him to produce his next novel.